An attempted carjacking turned shootout in Wauwatosa. Police say the victim pulled his own gun and shot at the would-be thieves trying to steal his car while he was pumping gas.
Now, the anti-gun crowd loves to preach that firearms in civilian hands are a danger. No, 5 criminals armed with illegal guns who decided it's time to play Grand Theft Auto in real life is a danger. Firearms in the hands of civilians is a necessity. They thought they had an easy lick, but because of this little thing called the Second Amendment, this so-called dangerous citizen was able to protect himself.
And I want to show you what's left over, the damage left over from this shooting. You can see here somebody had fired a shot into the window of this gas station, the bullet hole remaining. This all happened again just before 3 in the morning. Police say a 39-year-old man was getting gas at this pump right over here when 5 people came up to him and tried to steal his car. Now, the driver was carrying a gun and exchanged shots with this group of people. Police say the suspects then piled into their car and took off. And what I find interesting about all of this is that one Wauwatosa police officer was actually nearby. They heard all of those gunshots happen and they saw the group's car speeding away from the intersection, and that's when police started to chase down those suspects before they eventually crashed at North 110th and Congress. All 5 suspects got out of the car and tried to run. Police arrested an 18-year-old man in connection to this incident. However, they still are looking for the remaining 4 people they think are connected to this shooting and attempted armed robbery.
But I want you to notice something here. The police were there, but they weren't there. They heard the gunshots, they saw the aftermath, but they weren't there to prevent the attack or stop it. It goes to show that when seconds count, I just gotta keep repeating it, help is only minutes away. And let's talk about those magazine limitations that some states love to enforce. 5 attackers versus 1 defender. Imagine dealing with that while being limited to 10 rounds. You'd be reloading more than shooting. This isn't a video game where you can just hit a button and magically have more ammunition. In the real world, magazine capacity can mean the difference between life and death. Our guy was facing 5 armed criminals. In a state with a magazine capacity ban, he'd be at a severe disadvantage trying to fend off multiple attackers with a limited number of shots. Wisconsin's gun laws, which allow for concealed carry and don't impose restrictive magazine limits, gave this guy a fighting chance. Without his legally carried firearm, this could have ended very differently. Strict laws would have disarmed the victim, not the criminals in this case. Those thugs didn't care about the gun laws. Their guns were illegal. Strict gun control laws would have left this guy defenseless, while the criminals would still be armed. But how many times do I have to repeat this? Y'all should know this by now. Let's face it, the gun is the great equalizer. Facing 5 guys with just your fist, you're a victim. Facing 5 guys with a gun, now you're an equal threat. In one scenario, you're outnumbered and outgunned. In the other, you have a fighting chance. The Second Amendment isn't about pretending to be a cowboy or a secret agent. It's about having the means to protect yourself when danger strikes. So the next time someone argues against civilian gun ownership, remind them of this story. Remind them that when seconds count, the police are minutes away. Remind them that criminals don't follow gun laws and that magazine capacity limits put law-abiding citizens at risk. The Second Amendment isn't just a historical artifact. It's a vital living right that empowers us to be our own protectors when life throws us into a real life action movie.
You know how frightening it is to think about what happens in the moments before, during, and even days after having to use your gun in self-defense? When you first start carrying a gun for protection, it can be a very scary and nerve-wracking experience, especially if you haven't gotten the education and training you need to feel confident. I've been there myself, hoping I never have to go through a self-defense shooting, which is why I'm a member of the USCCA. As a USCCA member, you can eliminate some of the stress of carrying a gun for protection by accessing the amazing wealth of firearm education, training, and current state-specific gun laws of your state or states you may travel to. This can help you be prepared for, or hopefully even avoid, a self-defense incident. As a bonus, members automatically become insured on the self-defense liability insurance policy purchased by and issued to the USCCA. Click below to learn more.
One thing's for certain and 2 things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you, and we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least 1 person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.